That's what you say, 52. How are you? Hey, this is chapter 34. 34 is it's called Corners. And it's really interesting because just a little while ago I didn't really understand what it meant in Mark 1:1 when it said that Jesus Christ was the beginning of the gospel. He was the beginning of everything. I didn't understand the word for beginning because I never really looked it up. I guess there's guys out there, theologian type guys that have looked it up, but I just never knew it before. And it kind of gave me a boost in my faith, and it also kind of made me to double check and take a hard look at everything that I was doing to make sure that things were in line. So the reason why we call it Corners is because that verse in Mark 1:1 says Jesus Christ is the beginning. In the Greek, that word is the same word used for the corners of a sail. So check it out. You could have a 100-foot high sail, maybe 40 or 50 feet wide, and it could be pulling maybe a 70-foot boat that weighs 10 or 15 tons, right? But it all boils down, that boat moving all boils down to one little tiny patch on the corner, and it's called a clew. And it's triple stitched, quadruple stripped, and it's got 2 or 3 different layers of fabric, and it's attached to the rest of the sail. But that one corner right there is completely the reason why a boat moves. If you haven't got that, when you just get out on the water and the storm or the wind gets a little bit strong and the boat starts to cut through the wave and the boat starts to put a lot of pressure on that sail, the sail will just tear out and it'll do a circle and you're out of business. Without a clue, that great big 100-foot long sail doesn't mean jack. It's not going anywhere. You're just sitting in the water. Without that clue, you've got nothing. And the word, it says the beginning of the gospel is Jesus Christ. That word is the same word used for the clue of a sail, the corner of a sail. That's what we named this chapter, Corners. The Bible also says that Jesus is the cornerstone that the church is built on. He's the cornerstone that everything's built on. And anybody who builds a building without that cornerstone, it may look like they're doing okay. They may be having a lamb chop with their friends and having a party in the afternoon, and it looks like everything's going Jake, and all of a sudden a storm comes and the whole freaking house blows down. Just like the same thing with a sailboat. You could be cutting through the water on a nice sunny day with this big boat, making good time and having a great time with all your buddies, and all of a sudden the wind starts to blow a little harder and the sail rips out. In both cases scenario, you end up with nothing. You end up going nowhere. So what you've built is taking you to a certain point. But if what you've built is just a hole in the sail without a corner or a clue that's reinforced, it's going to rip out. It's going to rip out. If what you've built is a beautiful house without a cornerstone and a good foundation, it's going to crumble. So here's the good news. If you're hearing this, here's the good news. If you don't have a clue, a corner of a sail, which is kind of cool, you don't have a clue, right? If you don't have a foundation, right? You don't have to wait for your building to crumble and fall. You don't have to wait for the sail to tear out and stick you out in the middle of the ocean with no ability to go where you need to go. You can change. You can change that thing up. And here's the thing. This is all of it. This is the complete and totality of the entire chapter 34, the devotion 34. If what you're doing is trying to glorify Jesus Christ and not yourself, if what you're building is His kingdom and not your kingdom, you don't have to worry about your sail ripping out or your building going down. When the waters get rough, you're just going to keep turning. You're going to keep pulling. You're going to keep going in the direction that He needs for you to go, and you're going to succeed. But what happens is, as you go along in life, sometimes your focus will get off of Jesus Christ to where maybe you're trying to glorify yourself. Maybe pride's entering into the picture, and now you're more worried about what people think about you than what they think about Jesus. There's 100 different ways that you can get your eyes off Jesus. And when you get your eyes off Jesus, you're going to lose that clue. You're going to lose that corner of that sail. That sail is going to tear out. You're going to lose that cornerstone. You're going to lose that foundation. That building is going to crumble. When your eyes come off Jesus, that's what's going to happen. But it don't have to happen. So this devotion today is, hey, double check what you're doing. Make sure that you're following the Lord so that sail doesn't rip out. And if the sail has ripped out, if the building has crumbled, all right, no big deal. Pick yourself up, brush yourself off, go back at it again, and make sure that this time around you keep those corners intact so that Jesus Christ is there, and the rest of all the buildings and the people and whatever may come with it, all of that's just the sail that's blowing, but it's attached to that corner that's pulling you strong and hard. And that's why this chapter is called Corners, and I hope it helps you.